Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third PlayStation Talents showcase during this IndieX 2020, and we have one of the most unique games we got into PlayStation
Hello,
Talents
everyone, and welcome
2020.
to the
And then again,
the
I forgot
third
to
PlayStation Talents showcase
mute
during
myself.
this IndieX
God.
2020.
And technical problems. And with me, I have the pleasure to have the one-woman show from MA Studio, Matilde Albuquerque, the author of Careto. Matilde, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you.
So, how was the? I'm asking this to everyone because I honestly want to know how was. How did you receive the news that your game got got into finalist of
Um,
PlayStation Talents?
I was really happy because it's always a pleasure to have recognition. And like you said, well, I did this game alone by myself, so it was a lot of work. So it felt really good. I remember my first reaction was to open the windows for absolutely no reason. I just didn't know what to say, what to do. So, yeah.
And what's the context of this game? Did you do it in as academic purpose? I know this is an edutainment project, but what's the context? Why Careto?
Okay, so yes, I did it with academic context,
Mm-hmm.
um, and um, and so well, I'm studying it ethic. I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing a high national degree on animation and video games. I come from a background of communication design, and I
So that's
I
the two.
moved.
That's two of us from communication
Okay.
design.
Yes, okay. So yes, that was actually my degree, and I see video games as more like a specialization. I actually got the attention about this tradition from the documentary that you talked about. 2 years ago, I discovered the documentary, and Caretos
Really,
kept. Yes, exactly.
really.
That's why I thought it was so interesting
you know,
that you
so,
mentioned it.
yeah, you know something that I discovered that documentary. I believe 6 years ago, and I was really into that. Aesthetics of Caretos and that old Celtic inspired traditions you have in north part of Portugal. And I showcased it to my students at from the illustration course of the National Society of Fine Arts because I felt that was so inspiring, that documentary, and it's really funny that I spoke about it during the Mother PlayStation episode, and you saying that that was also your source of inspiration. So yeah, if this was
Yes, it was like three
arranged,
years ago.
yeah, that's really great.
Yes. It was one of the basic inspirations for the game. Yeah, at first I was even like doing a documentary on the side, but then I focused on the game.
But are you from that region? Did you had personal contact with the tradition, or just something from Portuguese folklore that you got really interested in exploring?
Yes, it was mainly because I'm sick that everybody knows the stereotypes of Portuguese culture and not something more specific and so unique like this tradition.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about fado, pastéis de nata, uh, whatever. But this is so unique and so beautiful and weird that I just felt one day I would have to do something with it.
And it's far more ancient, isn't it? Because these traditions, from what historians tell us, they came from our Celtiberian tribes that we had here, and the spread they also had to the northern islands of Great Britain. And it's really cool to notice. We usually go to this kind of British and Irish and Scottish folklore, and we ignore we actually have it in Portugal that has the same roots.
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought. Yes.
Another thing
Sometimes
I
we don't.
Yeah, please.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sometimes we don't need to go so far to find something particular.
And something we were speaking before we started this streaming session. We have a cool timing with the announcement of your project, because this last September, Mibo Games just released. Mibo Games, the board game publisher, just published Caretos, Portuguese board game. I have it already, played it two times, and I'm almost ready to write my article on it. And it's so cool to see on one side a board game Portuguese publisher interested in exploring this theme, and on the other side, having a Portuguese author submitting a game to an international program like PlayStation Talents, about something so Portuguese and so poorly explored in terms of artistical value. And for that, Matilde, I really have to thank you and congratulate you for the bold choice of exploring our own Portuguese legends.
Thank you so much. Yes, and actually, people in Pudense, the little village in the north of Portugal, they were so happy, and I was even more happy to give this to them,
Yeah.
because it's the recognition, and they managed to keep this tradition alive. And so the game is mainly a celebration of that.
I learned something from your project, because I didn't know that the most I know about the tradition is from the documentary from Cinemateca, and it doesn't have a narrator, and I didn't know that the boys had a specific name when they dressed up as Careto, and I learned it from your project.
The kids.
Yeah,
Yes, pequenitos.
yeah.
It's so cute. Yes, they have a specific name.
This being said, I think something cool for everyone that is watching our stream is to play Careto, and so that you can know exactly
Sure.
why we got so excited of having this unique game submitted to PlayStation Talents. Something really cool in terms of art direction is that you went into. I think I said this during the Model PlayStation episode where we disclosed who the finalists were. Is the art direction really resembles and resounds that old artistic approach of the northern rural areas. Like the line work is really
Thick.
yeah, really thick, really dark. The colors are mostly plain. It actually just reminded me of another animator in Portugal, José Pedro Cavalheiro. Also reminded me a bit of his work.
I had
And
classes with him.
oh, in fine arts faculty.
Yes.
Yeah, he was the teacher of multimedia, animation and multimedia. Yeah. So we came from this. We have the same alma mater. So okay.
Okay. Great.
So let's play. And we have a chocalho, isn't it? It's the thing that.
Yes, chocalho. Yeah, the rattle. I think in English it's rattle.
Okay, so here we have the little boy. Left shift to run. Space. Control.
The first level is still in development.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like you said, this is just me working on the game right now. So the first level, I really want to make it more visual with less text, because I have to explain to someone that doesn't know anything about the tradition what it is about, and because 30 years ago there was not a lot of caretos like you saw in the documentary, and um, and right now they have more, and it's more like a celebration of the tradition. It's not so hardcore about the single man of the villages, um, and so like right now anyone can dress as careto, from young boys to young girls and to little kids. So I had to explain.
We need the chestnuts.
Yes.
You know, something I found really amazing on that documentary was the sounds from people dressed up as Careto, because they were truly scary. I feel it
Yes,
sounded
they are.
demonic like.
Yes, they are. Um, and also, I'd like to mention that every house on the game exists on the little village.
Awesome. Did you
That was
approach the parish to know if there would be any interest on the mayor or something to support
uh,
this game?
they want to put the game on the museum.
Okay.
So I'm going to finish the game for sure.
Cool thing to the yellow to be added this way. I know you have a small delay from what I'm playing.
Yes, I have. It's actually a big delay, but it's fine. It's just always good to see someone play the game. Mostly children, you know.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. They are really pissed to the old ladies that are trying to protect their stuff.
And
But
by the way, did you create the sounds too, or did you get?
yes, the sounds were all made by me as well. In the trailer as well.
Okay, so it really is a one woman show. Okay,
Yes,
you did every single thing in this game. Could you please trace
everything.
the walk around?
Yes, the sound I used Ableton Live, the program, to do music software.
Watching the Careto on the background, it reminded me how many representations of the folk legend of the Wicker Man exist. Because yeah, of course it comes from more global culture than the Portuguese. But when you think like you have like a wooden version of the Careto, isn't it? Part of the ritual.
Yes, it's in the background,
Yeah.
and you have to build during the game. Because normally in this tradition, they build the wooden Careto, and in the end, they burn it and they dance around. I don't have that part yet, but I really want to do a cool animation as a celebration and a victory for the end of the game.
How long do you expect the game to be?
To be done.
In terms of content, what do you think the game will? How far will the game go from what we already have here in the?
I have two plans for the game. I have an idea that um, it can be a short game
Mm-hmm.
or like 30 minutes with just two levels. So I would polish the first level that you did, that is the tutorial level, and this level that you are playing right now. And that would go to the museum. But if uh, I manage to have a bigger team or investment, I don't know. I have an ideal plan as well
Which
because
is?
I have a lot of levels thought, and it could be between 1 hour and a half to 3 hours of
Mm-hmm.
gameplay. And I could put the matrafonas that also exist in this
Yeah.
tradition. Uh, I could put some um, special characters like Caretos de Lazarim that are wooden.
Yeah,
They
they are
have
different.
wooden masks.
Their masks are really scary.
Yes, and
Yeah.
they're big and
Because in
creepy.
Prudence they have this more colorful approach, like little demons, but in Lazarin, it looks even more tribal, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
Um,
think I just I just returned to the same level.
Yes,
Yeah,
no, but it's the the last level that exists.
what do I like to say about this? It's have you finished your ethic course already?
I'm doing the last year
Okay.
right now. I'm continuing to work on Careto, and I'm also starting to work on some other projects as well.
Because
But
you're the third
yeah,
presentation from PlayStation Talents I've been doing, and you're the third that the project is also an academic project that evolved into a game. And I've been having this hard question to every single one of them because none of them finished their courses or their degrees. Um, Imagine in the case that your game gets awarded with the best game 2020, you'd have some hard decisions to make, wouldn't you?
between continuing the game and finishing the degree,
Yeah, exactly that.
I think I can manage. I would be very, very happy, and I will finish this game one way or another.
Okay. Okay, that's. So I only have now the colors of the mountains. Is it, or can I select anything else? I just
uh,
reached the map again.
yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, because on
Yeah, you have
Facebook
the
it's
yeah.
delay. No. Well, that's it. Now I want to continue the next level and to do a better first level. So that's the process right now. I really hope I can grow the team so it's not just me. Otherwise, I'll go crazy. No, I'm kidding. No, so yes. So yes, well, this level, the color of the mountains, it's about building the costume of Careto because I went to the carnival of last year and they said to me it's one of the hardest things to build for the carnival. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money and talent, and not everyone knows how to do these costumes. So I thought I should really had this challenge in the
Inserted.
game,
Yeah, yeah.
even if it's metaphorically. You know.
It, I've been thinking from the last few years to visit there during the carnival. Is it too touristic at this moment? Like, how many people were there when you attended the carnival?
Last year it was full of people
Okay.
because they won the distinction of UNESCO.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if you heard.
yeah.
And Marcelo, also the president, went there. So they never had so many visitors like that year. It was full of people. The problem now is that with this pandemic, probably they will not have carnival this year.
Yeah.
So I think it's really good that this game is starting to be noticed right now because it's a way for people to don't forget this tradition exists. And they invested so much money in their village, in the costumes and everything. Uh, the best thing we can do is to keep reminding uh, that we should go there and visit.
Did you speak with older villagers?
Yes, I did. I interviewed a bunch of people, and they told me how different the village was some years ago. 30 years ago, they didn't even have roads; they had mud, uh, and that's hardcore.
But but
So
but the carnival itself is really different, isn't it? Because when you watch Máscaras from Noémia Delgado, and when you see the photos from nowadays, um, what the documentary shows is a raw tradition, isn't it? Like everything is really
yeah, it's really
primordial.
rough,
Yeah,
and it has a lot of fog. It's what I also like about this tradition and this area in Portugal is that it's also spooky, and it creates a great environment for this kind of events. So it's inspiring in every way.
We have several people on our chat clapping. We also have Frederic Verón that is saying very interesting game, really enjoyable, and it's true. It's something really different that stands out, and I think that that could be a great weapon for you for the future. Do you think that whatever may happen on the as a result of PlayStation Talents 2020, be your game chosen as the best game or not, do you believe that this recognition might help you in the future in terms of in career-wise?
For sure. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And where do you see yourself after Careto? Do you see keeping MA Studio and getting more people to work with, trying to go to another company? What kind of game do you want to do after this?
Um, okay, so my goal is being able to continue to do games.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this is a big dream, and it will be hard to achieve. There's a lot of steps that I need to think about. I don't know if I will keep MA Studios exactly because, I mean, for Careto for sure, but after Careto is done, I will have to see also how my network responds
Mm-hmm.
and see what are the next steps for me. But I really want to continue to do video games. I have a lot of ideas prepared for the future. Um, so let's hope.
But here in Caret, you are doing every single aspect of the game development. You said you have a dream of continuing to be a game developer. What do you see
Yes.
yourself doing? Being a game designer, a game artist, a composer, a programmer? What do you see yourself doing?
Um, what I like the most is to do the game arts and to
Okay.
do the research, and do the concept arts, do and the development of the art, everything. But at the same time, the part of development and programming is is a challenge, even creatively. It gives me ideas. So it's something that I need to work on and to continue to study. But for now, I see myself more as a game artist.
Okay. And I don't know your art style. I don't know who you are as an artist. Everything I know is from Caret. Did you adjust your artistic approach to have this visual artistical connection with the kind of aesthetics that you wanted to portray, or is Matilde Albuquerque the game artist different than what you see in this game?
Well, it's a little bit of both. I always liked to explore the colors, so that's why the game is so colorful. But at the same time, the this village, this region, the north of Portugal, they have this visual language that is very iconic. It's something that I always admired how to express with simple lines or icons. So it was the perfect combination for me. It was also very inspiring. Also, the theater, like the Chinese theater shadows, I
Yeah.
don't know really how to say it in English. It was also a big inspiration. Uh, so it was a little bit of both. I kind of identified myself with this art style, and I just also playing a little bit with the colors. Uh, and now Careto was born. So
Do you see yourself exploring other Portuguese folk tales? Because there are several of them, mostly unknown
yes,
for the public.
yes, I see myself continuing to explore the Portuguese culture because it's something that, as a Portuguese person, and I lived outside of Portugal already, I would like to share our culture. Sorry, I'm thinking, so I start to like.
Yeah, because it's usual
Um,
for other countries. For example, think about the example of The Witcher. Although it's based on a series of books, the actual of tales, the folk tales, are Polish inspired, and you see that
yes,
that kind of representation of local folklore getting massive expression in the Portuguese. Even us as Portuguese, we don't do that as often. If you're a fiction, a science fiction writer or a fantasy writer, you're easily going to the British concept of elves, then you go to our own goblin-like creatures that we have in our folklore, and that's a huge idea you have to try to explore this and try to break this through to the major public. And do you see
yes.
yourself keeping doing it? You said you already lived outside of Portugal. Living outside of Portugal, do you feel it more intensely than from us that we can only see around this rectangle?
Um, well, it's just I lived for 2 years in France, and in France they are more nationalistic or proud of being French than we are sometimes proud of being Portuguese, and that awakened something in me. Not something bad, like uh, patriotism. No, not at all. Just the fact that we need to really to appreciate our culture and
Hmm.
to explore. So and of course folkloric traditions or even our history, because we have a huge history uh, that explains why we are how we are. So I would like to continue to explore that.
And you don't see that in terms of video games. You don't see that representation as often. Even Age of Empires has like the Portuguese, and it's like an quasi optional civilization for you to try to. And I understand. And did you came across, for example, when you were starting this project in ETIC, were your colleagues or even your teachers aware of the folklore around Careto?
Not all of them.
Okay.
Not all of them. I knew better the tradition 2 years ago because of documentary, and then I continued to study and read a bunch of books about it. Uh, and so when they told me, "Oh, we don't know," I was a little bit surprised. But then, of course, I was like that some years ago. Normal.
And
Not
yeah,
not a lot of people know.
and it was before the UNESCO recognition, wasn't it? So
Yes,
um,
yes. When I discovered them, it was before. Then I started doing the game after the UNESCO recognition.
and this year, will you? I don't know how your course is. If it's expected for you to do another project for this last year, this year that you're current on. Um, do you have already an idea what you want to explore on your new project, new academic project?
Yes, this time I will not be alone, so I don't want to talk about it so much without having my team with me, but probably something Portuguese as well,
Okay.
and social culture.
Something cool that schools and universities allow is that exploration of themes and ideas that usually if you're thinking specifically in commercial aspects, most of the people wouldn't go there. uh, I just saw Careto, and last year we had that IndieX 2019 one finalist, which were a group of students from the degree of Lusofna, the video games degree of Lusofna, the second year class, and they had like some kind of a MOBA game, like a brawler, where you can only choose Portuguese characters, and the two characters they already had were Fernando Pessoa and Padeira de Barrota, and they all had like skill sets and different attacks, and that was really creative. And I don't know how it would resound with people outside of Portugal, because maybe the characters wouldn't say as much. If you were doing a game about William Shakespeare, it will be, or Joan of Arc will be more recognizable. But it is interesting that the academic projects gives you space to do that. And who knows, from something that starts as an academic project, where can it go? And you want to finish Careto, don't you? You want to put it on sale, I guess.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. I want to share this culture with more people or more countries. I hope.
Let's. I don't know if we have lots of people watching. Does anyone want to ask something to Matilde or make a comment about Careto? Those Gonçalo, those of who were not late to the party and were able to actually watch the game being played. Yeah, Gonçalo. It was some kind of a Smash Brothers with Portuguese characters. Yeah, you remember that one? It was like that. Yeah, it was really fun. But I always had that doubt, like, was this only enjoyable by Portuguese people? Like, would it be lost in translation? Do you fear that Careto might be lost in translation? Do you understand? Like,
Yes, I
non-Port.
understand.
Yeah.
Yes, but I try to do playtests with more people than just Portuguese people.
Yeah.
People of other countries.
Visually, it works. You can appeal to people only by how unique the art style and the aesthetics are. But
yes.
it was
also something. Sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
Also, I just remembered something that this tradition also comes like from the Romans. So there's similar traditions like this in Spain or in Italy. So I guess that at least in Europe, some countries might relate more maybe than others outside of Europe. But it's always good to have feedback from more people.
Nun Marx is just saying, I just want to congratulate you because it takes some courage to try and bring a respected and loved tradition to the limelight, opening up to criticism and hate. Thank you, Nuno. Gonçalo also is saying, the mysticism of Caretos will enthrall anyone in the world. I truly believe it because they are so visually different, aren't they? They are.
Yeah.
It's hard not to be inspired by the aesthetics of Careto.
Yes, and when you see them as a group, they have some kind of power, like energy, when they're jumping together.
You've been there. Did you feel that same spooky aura that you get from the documentary, or it changed a bit nowadays?
I think when the documentary was made in the 70s, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was 76. Yeah,
it was more hardcore because they more hardcore, like the tricks Careto played on people.
Yeah.
They would actually mess with them in the streets.
Because they are supposed to be allowed to do anything. Isn't that what the tradition says?
Yes. And I heard some stories that are just crazy.
They could eat your food and you have to allow them to. They can do physical things to you, and
they can throw you mud with ants, like creepy stuff. But nowadays they don't do it.
I think it wouldn't be that touristic to come here and get mud on your face.
Yeah,
randomly.
Imagine. Oh my god, no. No, so nowadays even girls can dress as Careto and little kids. So it's much more sophisticated, let's say.
Did they tell you how was the process, the actual process on the old days of building the costumes? Like how
they said that normally the costumes were very old before and used because they pass from generation to generation. So the costumes were a little bit different, more used, not so bright, say. And yeah, the masks are kind of like the same.
Matilde, we have a suggestion here because Nuno, thank you for reminding me of that. One of our IndieX 2020 finalists is a studio called Santa Ragione, and they developed a game which is now an Epic Game Store exclusive. It's called Saturnalia, which of course is a similar tradition Carnivale tradition, but in Italy. And that actually is an horror game, okay? It has a really specific aesthetics. Noon, can you remind me when... I know someone will be playing with the authors. Matilde, you should pay attention because it's cool that someone picked an Italian tradition in the game. The game exists in a small village in Italy, but of course it's not an edutainment game. It's an horror game, and it's cool how you with Careto and Santa Ragione with Saturnalia were able to pick local old traditions and make two different approaches to video games. So I would suggest if you have time to watch and
Yes,
to
for
speak with them.
sure.
It's cool to have no great great really. I wasn't thinking about this because we have two games representing different traditions in Italy for the same period, the carnival. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 11 p.m. tomorrow. It will be Saturnalia, and we have the developers with us too. So yeah, stay tuned.
Okay,
Thank you,
for
Noon.
sure.
Thank you, Noon. We're almost coming to the end of this PlayStation Talents 2020 session with Matilde Albuquerque. Does anyone want to ask Matilde something about Careto or about, well, her ideas for the future or anything else? Or learn something about the myths, for example?
Actually, I just remembered because you were asking me if I can still feel the energy nowadays during Carnival. And one part of this tradition is that they need to yell like the red foxes in the mountains. So what I read was that before Carnival, they go to the mountains to practice their scream like the foxes, and people don't know if it's
Humans are,
Caretos.
yeah.
Yes, humans or foxes. So
That's the
that's
explanation for that screeches. That's the explanation. Those high screeches you listen on the documentary. That's the explanation.
yes, that's
Oh,
the explanation. The
okay.
screams are to imitate the screams of a fox.
Oh, okay.
So and still nowadays, when you see a group of Careto jumping and going towards you, they normally do those screams. That's why in the beginning of the game, you can see Careto asleep and two little foxes asleep as well, and then you wake them up with the rattle, the chocalho, and they wake up as a symbolic of like winter is over, spring is here, and they break the silence.
No, no. I think I said 8 p.m. tomorrow. I think I did. And does people still call it intrudo, or they call it?
Yes, intrude chocalheiro.
Okay, that's a word that is being lost in oblivion in Portugal. We
Actually,
isn't it?
that's one of the things that I was sad in translating this game to English because I think intrudo is such a strong
Yeah, it
word
is. It is.
for carnival. It's the same intrudo and carnival, and so I wanted to find a more strong translation to carnival, intrudo, but I couldn't find. Intrudo is really something Portuguese, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to make the game also in Portuguese and hopefully in Mirandês, the second official
Ooh,
language of Portuguese.
nice.
Yes,
That's a
Portuguese.
cool idea. That's a cool
Yes.
idea. I actually can see. You spoke about Mirandês. I'm looking at the book. I don't know if that's the Mirandês version because Asterix was. You have a book behind you, and
Right there. Yes.
I remember
Um,
it was something really that everybody spoke about. The fact that Asterix got translated to Mirandês, so having Careto translated to Mirandês would be great.
yes, really. No, that one is actually in French. I bought it in
Oh,
Corsica, the island. And it's Asterix on course. Like,
okay. So yeah, the perfect place to buy that specific story. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So does anyone want to ask anything else to Matilde? If not, Matilde, thank you for being with us. Congratulations again for
Thank you so much,
an awesome
and thank you for
game.
playing my game.
Yeah, and congratulations on bringing this Portuguese folk tale to a video game, and congratulations on doing such a quality prototype by yourself. Yeah, it's really, really, yeah, really, really well done. And
Thank you.
I don't know if we'll return. And I'm missing the schedule. I don't know if we'll return in 15 minutes or later. Please check our event calendar at indiex.pt. From my part, it's the last participation I have today. Matilde, thank you for being with us. Everyone on our every single one of our viewers, thank you for being with us. And stay tuned. Don't
Thank
forget that you can play Careto by yourself. We already have the download link on indiex.pt. When you go to the portrait of Careto, you'll have the information to download the game and play it yourself. Okay?
Yes.
I'll be back tomorrow. The rest of the team will be back, I think, in 15 minutes. And today we have content until 10 p.m. So, Mathilde, thank you. And good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.